Welcome to Griefspace. It's a space where we talk honestly about grief and healing and what truly means to carry loss while still trying to live, work, and function in everyday life. Today's conversation is an important one because grief is not just emotional, it's physical too. When we experience a loss, it impacts the entire body. Our stress hormones shift, our nervous system becomes overwhelmed, sleep gets disrupted, and blood sugar becomes unstable. And even simple things like hydration and nourishment can suddenly feel really difficult. So it's quite often that people think they're not coping well, but in reality, it's their body that's operating under chronic stress and survival mode. In this episode, we're going to explore the connection between grief and the body, how stress, cortisol, sleep, nutrition, movement, and nervous system regulation all influence the grieving process and our ability to heal. Joining me today is Laurie Welsh. She is a certified functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioner, and she's a certified functional nutrition counselor. She's a certified functional weight loss consultant. And Laurie brings a wealth of knowledge in wellness, nutrition, and nervous system support. Together, we're going to talk about practical ways to support the body during grief so that healing becomes more sustainable and realistic. And I'm so glad you're here, Laurie. Let's begin.
Thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful.
I'm so glad you're here because we have a lot to talk about. We'll just get started right away. I think hydration, we would all agree, is one of the most neglected health options that we seem to ignore sometimes. And then our body begins to ignore our need. And, we don't want to shut down that response and that warning signal. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, dehydration, it worsens fatigue, it worsens constipation, which I'm all about poop. It worsens cravings, brain fog, and even headaches. So when you're dehydrated, all the things start going wrong. So always drink water before coffee in the morning. That's one thing everybody always wants to reach for the coffee pot first thing. Drink 16 ounces of water before. It makes such a difference. You can add some electrolytes if you need to. That will help and usually will make you drink a little bit more water, which is great. Herbal teas, mineral waters, any way that you can comfortably get more water into your system will help.
Yes, and when you're going through a grieving process, it's the comforting components of water that will get you to drink more. So I would definitely agree with the herbal teas. We're drinking regular black tea is dehydrating. It does not count as a water. However, whenever you drink herbal teas, you can count toward your water intake. So go for those warm, comforting things. Anything that makes you feel better. If ice lemon water makes you feel even better, go for that too. Just anything that would drive you to that water.
Perfect
Yeah,
analogy. When you're dehydrated, it makes your stress feel worse.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We tend to overeat when we are dehydrated because our cues are getting mistaken in our mind. So we are not really hungry oftentimes. We are needing water. I tell you all of these things because during the grieving process, your body will send all kinds of stress signals, and that's why it's an excellent time to optimize your health. Lori, we spoke about hunger, and so let's go into nutrition and where you see people who are going through a difficult time through stress, burnout, grieving process. Where do you begin your work with nutrition?
Well, it's all about your blood sugar balance. You really want to make sure that you're eating fat, fiber, and protein every time you eat, which means you're not gonna. I know what people do when they first wake up, or when people bring that platter of food to your house to make you feel better. It's usually pastries or cookies or cakes, and those are all what we call naked carbs, and they just shoot your blood sugar level up, and then they also create insulin spikes and swings. And you've got to center your plate and your thoughts around protein. Protein is a very important nutrient. And without it, you can't sustain a nice level blood sugar balance. So it's protein, fat, and fiber at every meal or snack. It's not hard to do. You can eat leftovers the night before, but
That's right. That's right. We tend to grab coffee and donut in the morning when we wake up, but go for those savory things.
well, cottage cheese with berries. You can always mix anything with Greek yogurt, especially if you add some chia seeds and some walnuts for a little fat, fiber, and protein mixture. That's great. Oatmeal with chia seeds and walnuts is great. But usually, when you're grieving, or I would usually try to get people into drinking bone broth or eating soups made from bone broth, those stews, chili, things that are nutrient dense but are really satiating and comforting, that comfort food.
Those are so helpful because we tend to go for those things that are unhealthy when we're under stress. And the key is to be prepared
Right.
and have those things on hand.
And if you know someone that's going through a bad time, try to nourish their bodies. Don't be so apt to bring the no bake cookies and the pies to their home. Make sure that they have sustainable, drop off a rotisserie chicken, drop off things that will nourish their body along with comforting them.
Let's talk about some comforting gifts that you could bring somebody who's grieving.
Fresh fruits, vegetables. They're not going to take the time to cut fruit
Right.
or vegetables up.
Hmm.
Anything, any kind of a casserole that is centered around protein and vegetables, not so much the carbohydrates. So, any of those items are tremendous
Yeah.
and are very comforting. They'll be nourished. And when their blood sugar is level and they've got some protein to keep them for the next, till the next meal, they'll feel much better.
You can make a platter look as beautiful as a bouquet of flowers. You can make lettuce wraps, decorate it with vegetables, various, hard-boiled eggs.
Oh, deviled eggs, yeah.
Yeah, deviled eggs. Things like that. Just keep in mind that if you're going through a grieving time or know somebody, that nutrition is paramount at this time. We need to help them conserve their energy, and we need to help them with decision fatigue around food and nutrition at this time. So those are just very good ways to take care of yourself or to take care of somebody who is grieving nutritionally. We also want to address stress, Lori. It's important to hydrate, it's important to have great nutrition, but let's talk about stress and that big nerve in our body that's responsible for stress.
Yes, that vagus nerve. It's very good to have good vagal tone, which takes you from your sympathetic, which is your fight or flight, to the parasympathetic, which is called the rest and digest. And we live in chronic stress, whether you're going through a loss or not. It's chronic stress. You just watch the news on TV. You get a bad text on your phone. You get a phone call from someone that's always in trouble. So, stress is something that everyone has to work on. And to get into that parasympathetic, you have to stimulate your vagus nerve. And you can do that simply with using things like gargling, humming, singing. My favorite is breath work because you can do that anywhere at any point in time. There's also taking a nice long walk without pods in your ears listening to something. You want to enjoy nature. You want to enjoy the grass and the leaves and the birds. Stretching, yoga, anything that is very soothing is what you want to do.
Feet up against the wall, laying
Oh,
on the
well,
floor.
that's a nighttime way to get into parasympathetic and be able to fall asleep at night. Put your butt up against the wall with your feet elevated and make sure that your tongue is on the roof of your mouth. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and release for 6. It's that exhale that really counts. You want to get rid of all of that excess weight in your lungs and in your body and put you in that wonderful state. But you have to do that for 5 to 10 minutes.
I like to use visual reminders, and I encourage my clients to do so also until the habit is built. So the breathing exercises are extremely important and supportive and effective. So I really stress the breathing. So you can put the word breathe on a sticky note. You can put 4, 4, 8 or whatever your pattern is, 4, 6, 7, whatever it is, as long as the exhale is longer than the inhale and hold,
Inhale.
and just put these visual reminders, put them in your shower, put them on your coffee cup, put them anywhere, and until you build that habit. And when you increase your vagal tone, you will eventually do these breathing exercises automatically, and it will be so beneficial.
It's important to make sure you do them. You do some deep breath work before you eat, because we sit down and we always are rushed when we eat. So you want to sit down at the table and you want to relax. And I think that's why, back in 1800s, why everyone would pray or talk over the meal. They would get that, all the juices flowing in their mouth. They would smell the food. They would relax. They would give gratitude, say a prayer, and then they would eat because they were getting into that rest and digest mode so that their stomach could break down the food and process it. Only they didn't know that that's what was happening back then. But
True. It's so true because our body prepares us to receive food, to receive sleep, and we need to activate the vagus nerve too and prepare our body to relax. I had not heard about the gargling to activate the vagus nerve. That was really interesting. I always encourage people to take their blood pressure before they do the vagus nerve exercises, the breathing and things like that, and then take it afterward because it is proof that it works and it's not just woo woo.
absolutely, go into the doctor's office all rushed and hurried.
Yeah.
They take your blood pressure,
Hmm.
and you say, "Hey, can you just leave for a few minutes and come back?"
That's
Do
right.
some deep breath work, and it'll be back in the normal range. So
When we're grieving, Lori, a lot of people struggle with sleep. A lot of people struggle with sleep anyway, but when you've suffered a loss, it it seems to be amplified. And let's talk about your expertise in functional health as far as it relates to sleep and brain restoration.
So when you're getting ready for bed, you should have a nighttime routine. No eating within 3 hours of bedtime, and that gives your body enough time to digest all the food. So when you are going to fall asleep, your brain can clean itself from all those senescent cells because your brain actually shrinks when you go to sleep. But besides that, no eating for 3 hours. An hour before you turn the lights out, you should really not have any screens. No TV, no laptop, and no phone. That way you can calm your body down and do some breathing. And you say, well, what do I do? Well, you can journal, you can read a book, or you can even fold laundry if it's calming,
Yeah.
as long as you don't have a screen on. And that's really important so that you can get into that bed. And when you turn that light off, you can really settle in and fall asleep because the first portion of your sleep is going to be deep sleep. Usually you go into your deep sleep first and then it'll be REM second. And without that deep sleep, you're really not going to clean your brain.
Upon waking up, our cortisol, our stress hormone cortisol, is at its highest, actually, about an hour after we wake up. The goal is to bring that stress hormone down.
What you really need to do is have a morning routine too. And that way, that circadian rhythm is going to work in your favor throughout the entire day. And so, first thing you want to do is drink some water when you first wake up. Plain water. 16 ounces is perfect. Less if you have to, but 16 ounces is the key. And then go outside, get natural sunlight in your eyes, outside natural sunlight, and in bare feet if you can, to be grounded. Through a window, you don't really get all of the rays that you need. But if that's all you have, then that's all you have. But have a morning ritual where you get some light. Don't pick up your phone first. Get natural light first. And then after that, you can come in and eat some protein and have coffee after the protein. That's key. You want to start with protein.
So many of us want to just get up and grab that cup of coffee, right?
Absolutely. I think I did that for the first 50 years of my life. It was always coffee pot 1st. But
Yeah. But if you're going through a grieving process, please remember, as I said, it's important to take extremely exquisite care of yourself during this time. So take Laurie's advice on these things: natural sunlight, a high protein breakfast, water, very first thing, and gentle movement too. Let's talk a little bit more about gentle movement. Let's talk about it in the context of exercise, Laurie. You've suffered a loss, you're either angry or upset, or people tell us, go out and hit a punching bag and go lift weights and let it all out. What are your thoughts there?
that's going to spike your cortisol, which then sends everything in your body into that fight or flight mode, which means that you're not going to be able to digest food or heal anything. Inflammation's going to go up. You want to get yourself into that parasympathetic, which means gentle movement. So the things you want to work on are walking, yoga, stretching. You can do some light weights as long as it's not go out there and do heavy crazy lifting.
Sure.
But everything should be gentle.
Gentle and enjoyable.
Oh, very much, yeah.
So we really want to incorporate some sort of gentle movement in our day.
Not only in the morning,
Yep.
but every time you eat, your cortisol is going to go up, your blood sugar, your insulin. So you want to move after you eat something. Even 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. You want to move your body. And that's going to help with digestion and lowering all those crazy hormones that you don't want running rampant. It'll use up that energy expenditure. So keep that in mind. And I'm sorry, but you have to be able to poop. And if you're not moving your body enough and drinking enough water and eating the protein, you're going to have a problem in that area.
Yeah, that's a good point. People want to comfort themselves during a loss or after a loss, and so they comfort themselves with alcohol or gummies or any substance for emotional suppression. Please discuss with us, Laurie, your thoughts on these chemicals.
Well, I know that because I'm getting up there in age, even any kind of alcohol or gummy, and I'm not going to sleep. So, and you put that into the context of having more issues, being under the stress of grief, and it's even going to be that much more elevated. So all that alcohol and everything, all it does is it's going to increase your inflammation, and it worsens your sleep quality to the point where it feels like even if you're laying there for 7 hours, it doesn't feel like you got that much sleep. It'll destabilize your blood sugar, and it's going to increase your anxiety and your issues the next day. It disrupts your healing because your body can't heal when it's in that state. Because once again, your nervous system, it needs support. not suppression.
Yes. Many times they're given prescription medication to help alleviate some of the symptoms, but I have noticed, Lori, with some of my clients, a good percentage of them cannot feel their feelings, and they're very concerned about that. And so taking substances can also inhibit the feeling that you want to feel that grief. You want to lean right into the pain. And if we are taking substances to mask those symptoms, it's not doing us any favors. Okay. It wasn't
Right.
to be taken long term at all.
Right. You need to feel.
Hmm.
You need to get through
Yeah,
things. You don't want to suppress your feelings.
that's right. If you're going through a time of grieving that, let's say it's a person who's dying of a chronic illness or an illness, and you know that your loss is going to happen, or if you have a job and you can see the writing on the wall that you're going to get the axe, that's anticipatory grief. And it gives you that opportunity to optimize your health before the loss occurs. In essence, it's a gift, so to speak, to have a chance to optimize your health so that you can begin processing your loss on a healthy platform, creating routines that can also become lifelong wellness practices, right?
That's very, very important. The sooner that you can get your routines down and prioritize fat, fiber, and protein when you eat, and sleep, and work on your dysregulated nervous system, which we all have, the better it's going to be when things do happen, because we're all going to experience loss, whether it's your pet, a neighbor, a friend, or a job. So
It's better to be ready.
it's better to be ready, prepared.
And by being prepared, you've set yourself up for a healthy routine, a healthy life. It's a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
I just want to make real clear that everything is so amplified during stress or grief. You know you're going to have that loss. You know your job is going to be cut. If you know that, don't reach for the bottle or reach for the cookie. Reach for what nourishes you and really comforts you. And look, when we talk about our lifestyle, when it comes to your schedule, say no to things. Reduce your schedule. Guilt-free. I thank you for inviting me, but I'm going to take a rain check for now. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid for lightening your load and just as much as you have control over, you're just going to set yourself up for a really strong grieving process.
And you should really prioritize getting back to basics. Don't start something new. Just prioritize what you know will create healing in your body: sleep, hydration, movement, and good quality whole foods, fat, fiber, and protein. Just get back to basics.
Any of you who are looking into being healthy know these things, but please, if you know somebody who's going through a grieving process, show them this video. Send them to Lori's website. Work with Lori. Lori, how can people work with you?
They can go right to my links page. It's www.nourishwithlori.com /links. And I've got a lot of freebies there. I've got 30 high protein, 1 pan meals in 30 minutes. I've got a 5-day food, mood, poop journal, which is my favorite, and it comes with some free coaching. So all these things you want to figure out what's going on, because functional means a whole body approach. We want to figure out what's going on in your body and why.
Thank you so much, Lori, for sharing your expertise in functional health with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's so wonderful to see you again, Lisa.
Thank you. It's great to see you. You have so much to offer, and I'm so glad. I hope you will look at the show notes, everyone. That's where you will find the information, how you can find her on Instagram and Facebook. And Lori has a newsletter that comes out every Saturday morning. Just so much So many good things for you. Please take advantage of the free gifts that she's offering you. So optimizing your health, folks, will not lessen your loss. I am not promising that, but healthy habits lead to a healthy body, which leads to a healthy mind and a healthy grieving process. I personally have a holistic approach to grief, which includes much of what Laurie and I discussed. Check the show notes to discover how you can work with me. And until then, I'm always here to help you become the boss of your loss.